Hey guys, what is up? This will be another tutorial in our multiplayer series. And I'm doing this one in school because I don't have time to do it at home. So we're going to continue off from where we left with hosting servers and connecting. So back on our menu screen or frame, go onto the host server, click the button and just give it an instance name of host underscore btn, and for connect underscore btn. In the actions, this goes to login and this goes to login, but we don't want it to go back to login exactly, so we say go to and stop connect, and we'll also say in the host button global dot is host is equal to true, but for the connect button global dot is host is equal to false. We might want to define is host, so get bytes total, go to a stop row again. So on our register button we can just simply say global dot is host will be equal to false. In the chat itself is where we'll check if it's host or not. And if it is host, we want it to have certain advantages. So in order to connect to a server, you would need that server to be started and for it to have a host. So what we would want to do is when we load up the characters, well, for now we won't be needing anything with the host. So let's just work on saving our x and y coordinates. So into the register frame, we can just copy this variable into the chat. And scroll down to close connection. So before SmartFox disconnect, we make this variable which we can leave it as username or can change it to something more like the data, but keep the local value as usernames and can say get data dot x, that will be no, the data dot x value will be equal to the player dot x, and we can just say the data dot y value will be equal to the player dot y. What this does makes two extra variables in the shared object file that we created, the save file called y value and x value, and it will be according to whatever the x and y value of the player was. What we would like to load this, we would also like to load this up here, so just copy this, go into set up my avatar, and right where we're going to change this well, above the px and py, just paste it and say if the data data dot x value is not equal to undefined mean, which means if you have already saved your x value, then we want the player's x value to be whatever the x value was set as. Else, so if it is undefined, which means we have never saved it before, then px is equal to a random number and the player.x will be equal to px. And just copy this. No, undo. Just remember, do not press Ctrl Shift and F to format it because that will mess up your code. So you can manually change it up. So just select all this again and paste, and if the data.y value is not equal to undefined, then the player.y is equal to data.y value, else variable py is a number and the x will be equal to y will be equal to py, and that will be height. So if we have not already saved the x-axis to a value, then just randomly load a number and set the x position as that. But if we have already saved it to a value, then set the x position to that value. And the same thing goes for the y. So let's try to test it. Username dot Bob. And we'll host the server. IP address will be 127.0.0.1. Connect, join, and oh, we have a syntax error on line 300. Oh, we have an error with the space. You guys probably saw that and changed that. But let's just go back. So, Bob, password, Bob. You can also use localhost. And let us try. So this is Bob's value. If we leave the server and we try to join again, then it is the same because when we leave the server, it saved our value. So if we go up here in the middle of the road and we leave the server and we join again, we are in the middle of the road. If we go up to the house, we leave the server and we join again, connecting. Oh, it says it can't connect. Let's try that again. So it should still be by the house once the username is Bob. So connected, please log in, and he is by the house. So no matter where he goes, once he leaves the server and joins back, he will remain at that position. Unless if you make I think if you make another account, it would still apply. So if we try register, I think he would still be there. Yeah. So he's still by the house. So we have to change that. We instead of saving it to username, we want to save it to whatever his username is plus the extra one. So we use the same save group as username, but instead we will say username dot into. Okay, where it says global of my name, instead of this saying X value alone, it will say just take out that full stop and put these square brackets and your string. So it will be X value plus global dot my name close square brackets. So if his name is Bob, it will be X value Bob, which will be the player at X, and X value Y value Bob, the player at Y position. So Y value Bob. And that will be the name of the variable, and it will be whatever it is. So when we want to load it as well, we'd have to check for Bob or whatever you set its name as. So for X value, the X value plus global of my name, which would be Bob. And if that variable is undefined, then go to a random position. Otherwise, go to the position that it's saved as. So just paste that and change it to Y. So that will be the name of the variable, and just let's test that. Bob, password Bob, login, host server, local host, connect, join. So Bob starts off in this patch of grass, and if we go to this house over here, we leave and we connect again. We're at that house. They don't necessarily have to, but if we go in as two and we log in, we begin in the patch of grass again. And if we go to this house and leave the server and join, he is at that house. Menu, log out, we log back in as Bob, and he is at his house. So this is how the saving works. You can use this for inventory and items, but we might not cover that in this tutorial, but we also might. Next, we work on making maps for your server to let others be able to play it. I'm not sure when that video would come out, but until then, see you next time. This is an update to the video because I've been publishing it, but I stopped publishing it to add in this extra part. So don't forget to save your video, your file, and Control Shift and S, save as, and save it as the backup file, just in case anything goes wrong. Don't ever forget to do that.